recently during Season 1, and they have to accept their invites, of course, but if they accept them, they are guaranteed as getting invites. God damn it. I knew there was something with the Giezo button. I knew the Giezo hotkey was going to be bad for something. But yeah, so that's going to be... so they are invited, guaranteed. The rest of the invites will be confirmed after we have the qualifiers. So they're going to be based off of WardiTV weekly performances and people who showed up and played multiple times and so on as well. So generally people who placed highly in WardiTV weekly events, basically. But we didn't want to limit people. We didn't want to send out invites beforehand because we wanted to let people, if they want to try and play for the $50 in the qualifier, we're happy for that because obviously it's great for us if we get to watch some great games as well. So that's sort of the logic behind it all. Enough talking. Let's do more talking, a bit more of the StarCraft variety. To the bottom left-hand side of the map, the purple Zerg player. Give it up, guys, if you're going to be cheering on Dark. And to the top right-hand side of the map, it's the red Terran player. Give it up if you're cheering on aLive. What's up, Folden Aces? How you doing? It says Wardy with an exclamation mark. What's up? Hello, Super Shadowcat20 in the chat as well. How you doing? Thank you for the compliments, although maybe a bit forward, but hello. What's up? Thank you very much. Semi-final matches will be cast one after the other OP Marines. We will bring you guys both the best of 3 semis, followed by the best of 5 finals. That's how we roll in these events. I think it's become kind of the standard lately. Base trade really can't sort of set the standard of just casting both semi-finals. It makes sense too, especially in Legacy of the Void. It brings the tournament to kind of last a pretty decent length. If we just did one semi-final and then the finals, it could be done in like 3-ish hours, 3.5 hours. Kind of casting both the semis and the finals just makes it kind of a nice 4-hour event, which is kind of, as the streamer, tournament organizer, what you're kind of aiming for. It's a pretty comfortable amount of time for the players. It's a pretty comfortable amount of time for a stream. It's enough time to build up a viewership, to get some good views in and stuff like that, and all the rest. So you aim for like a 4-hour stream, I would say. Thank you very much, Nate Jamie Newsroom, who just hit that sub button as well. Thank you very much. Some more SJ Hearts in the chat, please. Thank you. Did I introduce aLive? This is aLive to the top right-hand side, and he's opening 211 here on Proxima Station for game number 1. Yeah, thanks for the subs, guys. Obviously, I didn't get to stream much last week, and our sub count took a plummeting, but yeah, nice to be on the way back up again. I think we might change the sub goal to 250. Go for those emotes, and that'll motivate me to actually get the emotes made as well. Go for those emotes, shall we? I think that would be fun. But yeah, lots of look forward to kind of that, and thank you everyone who does support the stream. Again, it's very, very true when I say this, that the reason we can run these WardiTV weekly events is obviously because of our partners, Matcherino, and because of OSC as well, so thank you to those guys. But it's also because of you guys, the subs, and because there's so many subs of you at the moment, subs at the moment, you're able to help us put in a bit of the extra prize money to make these events happen, to draw these players in. So if you're a sub, you're actually helping these tournaments. Trust me, you are helping the tournaments. You're helping me as a streamer. You're awesome people. With all of that said, let's talk about this game, because I've really not done enough of that in the last 4 minutes, have I? So we just mentioned it's a 2-1-1 out of our Terran player. Out of our Zerg player, we do see the early Evolution Chamber coming up, and that will open up the ability to go into that Carapace upgrade, which is what we saw Dark doing earlier on this map when playing it against Bunny, and Bunny actually went for the same sort of Carapace-based opening as well. So, sorry, he went for the same, not Carapace-based opening, he went for the same 2-1-1 opening as what aLive is doing, so kind of a similar game to what we saw in the previous TVZ series here on the stream. We'll see 2 engineering bays now coming down. Just setting up here to kind of block off between the main and the natural. Interesting, actually. It's kind of an old school sort of thing. I guess not old school, but this is something that sort of became a thing when adepts were very annoying to deal with. Just kind of walling off between your main and natural. It's never something we really saw much of in TVZ, but it does make sense. With Bane drops and so on being in the game nowadays, just in case a drop from the Zerg comes in, you can have that extra wall of defense just to put some units somewhere else. So even if your main gets breached, you have another wall to hide behind to protect your natural or something. So it's pretty cool. It works out quite nicely. Thank you very much, Hoagies1122 for the sub as well. Wow, the sub train is crazy right now. Subterranean is intense. Thank you very much for another sub. I'll give you a proper shout out after. We should really talk about this game though, as we see Marines starting to unload. They have a weird position to unload because they're kind of on the wrong side of these rocks. So he's got a bit of a walk around to get towards the creep spread or anything, but he's going to start moving in that direction right now. And you see this one circling at the front. Should get taken down pretty quickly. So aLive Sims Forwards picks that off. And we're just going to be seeing Queens and Lings here ready to defend. The Queens obviously connect to the medevacs. They get rid of those quite quickly, and that gets rid of the healing potential as they have to back away. And that means the Marines are a little bit weaker to the Zerglings. By the time the next medevac joins up though, you do want those Balins in play, because it does get just a little bit too strong if you don't have, if you're only on Zerglings against 20 Marines rather than the 16. It doesn't sound like much of a difference, but 24 Marines to 16 is, just the way they clump up and the way the damage kind of scales, and based on how much damage you can do as the Zerg. With Zerglings, it's kind of crazy. It definitely doesn't add up in favor of the Zerg player. Now, we saw the double engineering bay, which means we did see the third CC as well. We're also seeing now triple racks coming down as a follow-up. So it's 5 racks in total. It's the mid-game we expected to be from aLive. I mean, you're not going to randomly switch into mech with this build, unless you're Gummy-Ho. Gummy-Ho has probably done that once or twice, but apart from that, I mean, you're just expecting to go for this upgrades. It's upgrades, it's production, it's a third base, it's a mid-game. It's the very standard mid-game TVZ plan. I do have to say, like, TVZ as a matchup can become very still in terms of mid-games, We see, a lot of different ways to basically end up, not still, I guess, but the mid-games are always very similar. It's very much so always about mostly bio against Lingbane and Muta nowadays. But, I mean, it's not still because it's such an exciting kind of composition kind of matchup to kind of watch. Mutas, Lings and Banes against Marine, Marauder, Bio, Mines as well. It's an exciting kind of back and forth, and it really does create kind of some of the best games in StarCraft 2, in my opinion, to the TVZ matchup. Some of these games which are just epic Zerg defending wave after wave of the Terran and just holding on for so long. It can be really cool. I mean, you think about any of the great matchups. I mean, you basically name a TVZ with Tasia in it. Tasia versus Solar, DreamHack. Basically any TVZ, like Life as well, any ZvT with Life in it. Always great epic matches. And this is what the kind of Lingbane Muta against Bio playstyle allows you to do with the way that the matchup just with the way the matchup goes. Baneling getting shot down here as a few Queens just sitting in the front. Obviously would like to push the creep forwards, but Marines will try and stop that from happening as aLive takes a pretty nice position out the front. A couple of Widow Mines to help out. See a few Lings have run around the side, and they are going to morph into Banelings to try and get some further damage done, so they'll be attacking towards the natural. I mean, the wall's not there just yet, so there's definitely some potential for these Banes to get in there and to get some damage done as Marines moving out in towards the center of the map. Lings and Banes still morphing in. We haven't received the Mutas yet. We have 7 of them are up, and they're actually heading to the north side. So it looks as though he's looking to harass with these as here we go. Banes start to move forwards, and they don't get to connect too well at all, actually. Mostly the Marines coming down to reinforce, doing a very good job of cleaning this up. A few Marines going to sim forwards again. A couple of Zerglings already getting cleaned out, and that's going to be seeing the a few more creep teams getting picked off right now. So a few more creep teams getting picked off as we see the Mutalisks just going to be working their way through this depot too. So a couple of depots starting to go down, one getting picked off already, and then the Marines just continuing to push forwards as well. A few more Banelings starting to morph on in, and getting some creep at the front, looking to see what's going to happen as we're going to be seeing again Mutas continue to come on in right now, and a couple more creep teams getting picked off. +2/+2 upgrades coming in here from aLive, so he's continuing with his upgrade kind of train as you wait to see the kind of next upgrade from our Zerg player as well, just the carapace that's missing. You just want to keep up with that, obviously. The closer you are on upgrades, the better of a time you're going to have as the game goes by. For the most part, this has been pretty passive though, actually. I mean, obviously aLive has taken position on the map and Dark has been in position ready to defend, but it's not been kind of any major clashes, really, just small skirmishes between the players so far. In terms of, you can see in the units lost, like there's very little loss so far. This is going to be a bit of a bigger fight as Banes roll in towards the army. Queen goes a bit too far forwards as well. I mean, he protects his creep spread though, so that works out quite nicely. And as you see, some of these Marines and Marauders pulling back over to the right-hand side here. 2 of Lords sat to the top left also. I'm just going to still see so much Lingbane around the map. Mutas flying around, looking for the chance to pick off what they can, but aLive's doing a good job of not leaving any openings. He's not leaving any Widow Mines exposed or anything like that. He's not letting any Medivacs fly too far forwards or anything along those lines either. As you do just see still the 2/2 upgrades rolling on in from aLive, and I guess that's what he's aiming for, to kind of make a bit of a bigger time, to really pressure forwards a bit more convincingly. Might be nice to start seeing him drop to the left-hand side a little bit as well. Start to clean up this hatchery, or start pressuring this hatchery. You know, split up the Zerg player a bit. Start to make him move around the map a bit more. Because right now, a Zerg player is just sort of sat here. As we're going to see him running in towards these mines. Bane's mostly just going off on Marauders. Wouldn't mind getting cleaned out as well, though. I mean, there's more reinforcing as well. So, I mean, Dog just trying to trade away a little bit as he is maxed out. For him, just getting rid of a few of these Widow Mines here and there definitely does work out in his favor. As, well, lots of Lings and Banes starting to move on forwards here. Widow Mines going off again. Not really connecting too easily or too well at all. This is a very one-dimensional attack here, though, from Dark. You know, there's a lot of Lings and Banes just all flowing in from the same direction, which means he takes a lot of damage on the way in. And aLive can just focus on pulling back all in, you know, all towards the right-hand side. He doesn't have to worry about anything looping around from that. So it would have been a bit of a better fight if some Lings came around from this direction too. Would have enabled the surround a bit faster. Just would have been a bit of a better way to engage. Either way, though, I mean, it's still okay for Dog. He didn't lose too much. The fight was, it was definitely favourable towards aLive. It was definitely efficient, but Dog sits on 76 workers in this matchup for a reason, because he knows the Terran army is going to be a bit more efficient for a long time. So he knows them sort of fights are going to start going that way. So I wouldn't say this was too bad for him. Now we're going to be seeing the... I think it's just going to be looking around, seeing what's up. You guys are pointing out in the chat as well. I did make a mistake, actually. I was saying, why is this +2 Carapace? He actually already had +2 Carapace. I was completely wrong, so ignore me. I was just surprised. For some reason, it's still in my head that melee upgrade should always come first, even though that's definitely not in the metagame anymore. My apologies. My own mistake. It's good, guys. That's why I've got you guys as my backup caster, you know? You're the co-caster that just types. Spotting me when I make mistakes and keeping me on the right track. +2 flyer attacks about to come in. As you can see, the Mirror's just going to move forwards. I mean, they pick off a Marauder. I mean, little bits and pieces like this, always nice. Again, sorry for the lag, guys. This is our kind of connection to Korea right now. I'm feeling a little bit. As here we go. Actually, Zergling's going to come in from the top side and from the south. Still kind of becomes a bit one-dimensional, but the Baneland hits are pretty good here. The Mutas are going to get rid of all of the Medivacs, it seems. And this is going to be a big convincing win here for Dark, as aLive's army plummets below 100 supply for a couple of moments. And Dark's is just going to rebuild into kind of 56 more Zerglings. Bane's rolling forwards as well. Depot's going down, and he's broken into the natural expansion now. Another Medivac trying to come back home, but those Marines are not going to last long at all. And it looks as though Dark is just a little bit too good here in game number 1. That's the GG right there. Game 1 goes to him. And let's introduce our players. We start down to, we're talking about best of 5s, and it's not best of 5s, best of 3. Talking about yeah, sorry. So let's introduce Dark. He spawns to the bottom right-hand side as the purple Zerg player here. And his opponent to the top left is going to be the red Terran player. It is aLive. Okay then, game number 2. Let's see how this is going to go. Does anyone else feel sexually aroused by Milos? Asked Shadowcat. I actually don't. Believe it or not, I just don't. It's not something that floats my boat, you know. It's weird that Wardy looks almost identical to my friend, says Dolphinfish SC2. Well, I mean, I guess some people look like other people, right? I missed the last second Widowmine kill right between the supply depots. I know. I was trying to I was hoping you guys didn't see it as well. Sorry, guys. Sometimes you don't have to talk about everything, though. Sometimes I miss things. Actually, Widowmine hits are one of those things I miss quite a lot, because it's actually something which, it happens so fast sometimes. And if you're just looking like, say like, for example, say the Widowmine hits. Well, I mean, this is a bad example, but say like a fight happens like here, and a Widowmine hits up here. But at that point of time, maybe I'm looking like down here, like a Baneland that's about to roll in. It's actually very easy to miss a Widowmine connecting up here if you don't know the Widowmine's there, for example. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty neat. Well, it's not pretty cool. It's pretty sad that we miss it, but yeah, especially if you're solo casting, there's just a chance of missing little things like that sometimes. And I mean, especially when you're casting as well, sometimes you're looking on the mini-map too to like see if there's any drops going on, and also that means you're also sometimes missing some of those extra Widowmine shots and little bits and pieces like that, so I appreciate. The hand heart he does is so cringe, says Hauler. That's fun. You gotta have your own little things, right? You gotta have your own little bits and pieces. Maybe you think it's cringe. I mean, that's just Twitch nowadays, isn't it? People have communities. People have, their own little kind of what do you call them? Like their own quirks? Not quirks, is it? It's everyone has their own little things and they do in their stream and little things people do, and it's different for everyone. Is uh-oh, someone's lagging out. Who is it?
Game paused.
It's not me, is it? I'm not a referee. My ping is kind of high.
Game resumed.
Looks as though they're going to try and resume. It looks as though I mean, it looked as though it was just going to be kind of a split moment or so. My ping's at 500, which is kind of high for Korea. Like usually it's like 300-ish, so it's kind of interesting. Anyways, not too important. So yeah, just waiting to see what's going to happen in this game. Then it's set up into game 2 of the TVZ. Want to apologize, recheck the clip, and he totally missed it. He just manually exploded his Banes, fought the mines that made the hit. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, actually, that makes sense. Manually explode the Banes so you could bust down the depots quickly. It probably makes sense as well. Yeah, I mean, it happens, though. I mean, I do miss Widow Mine shots, too. I mean, it just doesn't really matter, does it? Still a fun little thing to talk about for a couple of moments where we got set up into the game. Rotoran building up here from Dark in the natural expansion. His third hatchery is on the way up as well, so setting up into that. And I was going to see this siege tank is building as well from aLive. It's actually a bit of a different opening. Wouldn't mind dropping towards a siege tank follow-up or so. See what he's going to do with this. He's actually going to load up. Okay, yeah, he's going to unload and he's going to load up the Widow Mine as well. So across the map he goes. Let's see what's going to happen. We should talk more about the game going on itself. Dude, I spend like the entire game talking about the game, apart from the first few minutes where there's really... I mean, sometimes I talk a bit too much when something's going on in the first few minutes, but... I mean, we've just seen kind of the exact same build. Well, not the exact same build, but we've seen similar builds. I don't know. The first few minutes isn't much to say a lot of the time. We've been casting all day. Anyways, I mean, this right now is just going to be a few creep teams being cleaned out. This is actually quite nice so far from aLive. Has that Widow Mine as well to back him up. Actually going to be roach-based play from Dark here, so a little bit of a difference. He's also gone into a much faster lair. So, just going to be going into a much faster lair right now. It's just going to be seeing the bunker setting on up, and we just see a few Marines just starting to unload from the medevac, so... Setting up into this... Oh, okay, yeah, this is actually a pretty abusive position. Look at this. But the Ravager is actually going to be the savior, because they take down the tank very quickly. That's the problem with these kind of positions nowadays. Yeah, it's strong, but a few Ravagers just shut it down instantly. This is really nice then. The fact that Dark has Ravagers against this is so sick. I wonder if he just saw it coming or something, because it's almost as though his build order choice is just too perfect for this map. You know, that's kind of crazy. But yeah, Roaches and Ravagers moving around a little bit. We're going to see this drop actually back in towards the natural expansion. A little bit more damage being done. I mean, aLive still applying quite a lot of pressure, and quite successfully too. I mean, forcing drones to pull away from mineral lines and all the rest as well. This medevac just able to get away in the very end. The other medevac is what brought the tank across the map. That obviously got away alive and healthy as also. We now see this Liberator again ready to go. So again, another wave of aggression coming out of aLive at this point. Kind of, yeah, sort of as we expect, I suppose. This is an aggressive build where you kind of focused on harassing in multiple waves just to try and put yourself in a decent position against the Zerg and just slow the Zerg down enough to justify all the kind of commitment to harassment in the earlier stages. Going to be seeing the third hatchery is up from Dark, and well, we do see the third CC from aLive is up in the main base, so starting to morph that in towards an orbital. And you just see this medevac just moving around, still just starting to unload, and I guess it'll get repaired up as well. Is it me that's lagging? I mean, I'm getting a lot of spikes, but I don't think my spikes are affecting the players. It's a little bit strange. Anyways, 1-1 upgrades coming in right now from our Terran player. We do see the Stim Pack about halfway done as well from aLive as a follow-up. So, yeah, it was a factory-based opening, but he is going to go into that bio-based playstyle to kind of go, you know, afterwards. As you see, Ling Roach Ravager from Dark starting to work his way through these rocks. So, rocks starting to go down here. A few corrosive bars going to pop up into the sky, and it's going to start dropping down. He's obviously looking for a very aggressive attack in the near future. And I guess instead of running up this very narrow pathway, he wants to go into what's also a narrow pathway, but a bit more of an open narrow pathway. So he's just going to go for this sort of attack. Very aggressive Roach Ravager play. Roach speed, no upgrades. He's going to hit it at a great timing because, I mean, 1-1 from our Terran players, 20 seconds away, 20 seconds away from Stim. I mean, there doesn't really actually become a much of a better timing in this game for Dark to hit. So here we go, attacking in before aLive is really ready for this. He does have a double drop across the map, though, and that's something which Dark will have to find a way to defend against at the same time as he pushes on through here, though. I mean, there's one tank on the high ground from aLive, still dropping across the map. Roaches and Ravagers starting to be picked off by these units. And Dark cannot make his way in towards the main base, so he'll just sit here and continue to pick away at deep buzz on the low ground. He has killed 28 SCVs, and he actually hasn't lost any drones despite this double drop, so that's kind of insane. And I guess as more Roaches and Ravagers come out, this drop will be cleaned up rather easily, as now upgrades are not going to be cancelled. The engineering base will be killed. We're just going to be seeing the double engineering bay getting picked off quite quickly there. I mean, this third base from Dark, though, is still in trouble, and obviously the issue will be that aLive does have 3 CCs still alive. No pun intended. You know, he's got this base on the low ground too. I'm not sure if Dark saw that. Okay, he has. He's using the... Is that a... I don't even know what... Is that Diva announcer? It's been so long since I've heard it. But yeah, Dark's issue is going to be here that his opponent still has triple CC, whereas if he loses his third base, he's not in a pretty position at all. For now, he's okay, though. He stays to his 3 bases. He's got 51 to 27 workers. He can tech up from here and be ahead. Yes, there's triple mule and all the rest of it, but he's got the third base alive, and that's what's so important for him right now. Starts his Thunder and Claws and the Burrow upgrade. Would love to see some Evo Chambers as well. Start getting his upgrades kind of caught up a little bit. Obviously, aLive is ahead on upgrades right now with the 1-1, but after the kind of, 1-1 wouldn't be progressing for, in the near future for aLive, because he doesn't have an armory, and he doesn't have engineering base, so he's not going to go into 2-2 anytime soon. So the upgrades are going to be a little bit stagnant from aLive, while Dark will begin to catch up. There's the double Evo Chambers coming down with for this, as he will probably look to just continue to play a Roach Ravager based play style going in towards the next stages of this. So sort of sticking towards Roach Ravager, and as these units collect over to the right hand side. He's just going to sit here, and you're going to see a medevac from aLive coming down the left-hand side as well, so aLive looking to see what's up. Going to see 2 medevacs from aLive coming through the top side of the map, so let's see what's going on. Going to be a little bit interesting, I guess, to see kind of how he deals with these drops with Roach Ravager. You wouldn't have Mutilers to chase down these medevacs or anything. It's one of these weird games where actually aLive does have ways to kind of come back in the game a little bit. If you can get a little bit of damage done with the drops and utilizes maybe his 1-1 upgrades for a little while here, it's definitely recoverable. And you can see right now, I mean, 7 workers killed already. He's only 14 workers behind now, and obviously he's been behind a little bit more for a long time. But he will recover with the triple mule as well once he gets his third base landed again. Drop into the main base, and all of a sudden, 12 more workers go down on top of the 7 killed already. 20 in total now. And Dark is not just losing drones, he's also lost Overlord, supply blocked here, and now he's on 39 drones to the 37 SCVs, so all of a sudden out of nowhere, this is what I mean, like aLive is in a position where he wasn't, he's behind, but if he makes the right drops, he can definitely kind of recover quite quickly, and that's exactly what we just saw, and now will be an interesting situation. You see some Roaches going up in towards the main. This is really nice though, I mean, because now all of a sudden Dark is going to get some damage back onto aLive, and that's really important here, I think, to get a bit more done, because if he gets a bit more done himself, he can really kind of, you can just kind of come back a little bit more once again. 44 to 37 workers currently can very quickly turn into, well, he has 10 more finishing, he can very quickly kill like 10 or so SCVs here, and that's obviously going to be a huge lead as, well, Dark moving out, so this is pretty much the, aLive moving out. It's the perfect time for Dark to utilize these burrowed Roaches, because aLive is going to be mid-map, and there we go, and now aLive has to make a decision. Does he turn around, or does he keep on going? And continuing to go across the map is probably the best idea, and use reinforcements to clean this up. But I mean, these Roaches will take forever to clean up, and I said 10 workers already, 12 are down, a mule going down as well. SCVs evacuating from the natural expansion. Big army coming across from aLive. Does Dark have enough? He does have upgrades now, it's 1-1 apiece, and Dark even starting up his 2-2 upgrades. Tanks will make this difficult though, and it's just an awkward position to fight in, honestly, from Dark, because his opponent is down the ramp. And that's it's a hard position to push down into when there's tanks around. However, the medevacs, the corrosive bars, are doing a good job. Medevacs can't lift tanks anymore, guys. And so corrosive bars is doing a very good job of cleaning those out, as Roach is just going to reburrow over here, force another scan. Means a scan that really aLive can't afford right now. Dark will give up his 4th base. But I think he just says, hey, you know what? I know I'm in a good enough position here anyway. Did he kill the third? Oh my god, Dogs actually killed the third base during this as well. Okay then, well, with that said, having killed that CC, I think Dog's in a completely fine position. He's on 3 bases against the 2. He can afford to give up that 4th. Wow, I didn't realize that he killed the... I mean, it's just one of those things you don't really look back on, because there wasn't even that many roaches there. As we see Corrosive Bars continue to drop. The rest of the units coming forwards now. I mean, it's a big stim forwards from aLive, but he's leaving his tanks behind because of this. And I mean, now what? Roaches burrowing forwards. They're actually going to burrow underneath these tanks, pop up, and well, now the tanks are going to start disappearing. The bio not going to stand much of a chance either. GG and Dark will qualify for the WardiTV Weekly Season 1 final.